Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things that has helped me continue to do this for as long as I have has been to diversify my skill set in the general arena of music, right? So I started out just as a guitar player, and so we had great success.
Hey, that's not bad.
So we had great success with Grupo Fantasma, and I got to somewhat live my rock star dreams there, for a good amount of time, where all I had to do was play guitar, and I imagined that, hey, this is at that time, maybe 20 years ago, I thought to myself at one point, flying out somewhere to Europe or on a tour bus, I thought, like, this is it. It's all I have to do. Just play guitar for a while. It's amazing. And then things change, you know what I mean? And then you realize, like, hey, I need more than this. Um, Not just from the perspective of like satisfying my artistic um, needs, but also from very practical financial considerations. So I got into recording music, and have slowly over the last 15 years really built my studio and my skills as a producer and a recording engineer. Um, and along with that, songwriting, building those skills, and also the intrapersonal skills of working with other musicians that aren't in my band necessarily, the people that I need to help make albums, Um, but I think that idea of kind of diversifying your skill set in music is super important these days, because it's gotten harder due to, I mean, different things, but a lot of it is like cost of living and stuff like that, to just be out there playing gigs. So I think it's important to have a wide array of skills and avenues to be able to see yourself through this. And yeah, it is a very different world. So I don't claim to know um, how to do all of it. I did get started, 25 years ago, or more than that, 30 years ago. I started playing gigs. So the whole aspect of documenting everything and posting it online and being on TikTok and all of that stuff. I mean, I'm not on TikTok. I My newest project is called Caramelo Haze, and I started that in 2021, and we got on National Records, who put out our first record. And in one of the first meetings, one of the first things they said was, "You guys need to start a TikTok." And I was like,
Oh
man,
no.
yeah, I was like, no. I looked at, one of my collaborators in that band who's like 30, um, or he was at that time. So I'm like 15 years older than him, 18 years older than him. But I was like, hey, you start the TikTok. You're the closest that generation. Um, but yeah, it's really a different world from when I started. So like I said, I don't claim to really know how to navigate it completely myself. But what has helped me is being able to diversify my skill set, and that's kept me working.
And there are a lot of groups that thrive on being on the road in all different styles of music, right? But there are also downsides of being on the road, and there's kind of this range of, yeah, man, I don't want to sit still. I love being on the road. If I'm at home for 2 weeks, I get antsy. And then there's the opposite end of that spectrum where folks go, oh man, if I have to be on one more bus, I'm going to go nuts. Or wait in line again, or have some food that is destroying my health, or
Yeah.
all of those things. And then there's kind of a middle road where you're on tour for a few months, and then you have a couple of months off, and then the next part of, I guess, your annual season is to create some new things for the next EP. Where do you guys sit, do you think, in that spectrum of performing and creating and recording? Do you guys have seasons or a kind of a scheduled routine, or is it just catch as can?
Well, it's changed a lot for us. Definitely post pandemic. things changed a lot for all the projects that we're involved in. With Grupo Fantasma definitely used to be a heavily touring band, and for most of our career, that's what we did. We spent 20 years on the road, and we all kind of grew up on the road. We started doing it when we were in our 20s, and there was no issue or no concern. We were out there, we were in vans, we were sleeping on floors, we were living unhealthy lifestyles, I'd say, from food to staying up too late and probably drinking too much.
Well, that's the law in our 20s, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't that big of a deal there, but we all grew up, and eventually most of us got married and had kids, so that definitely became a concern. Although we did continue to tour, and I toured some of the most, or some of the heaviest touring that I did was when my kids were very young, and that's a consideration, and it's definitely, you miss out on a lot of things, and you do make those sacrifices in this business a lot, and most of us did that. We don't all have kids in the band, but a majority of the guys do. So with Grupo Fantasma, we were taking advantage of opportunities that were given to us at that time. So this is pretty much, my kids were born in 2009, and that was, in 2010 we won a Grammy, and so we were really busy all through that time. But from Grupo Fantasma, a few other bands branched off that got very busy and successful in their own right, like Brownout and Money Chicha. So we really, for a long time, was kind of how we solved our problems and dealt with things. We just form another band. So it was like, hey, if anything came up, like, hey man, we need more work, we need more opportunities, whatever, we're like, let's make another band. So we were always forming bands and finding ways to stay on the road and kind of keep it going. And that really continued until the pandemic, when everything obviously shut down. And we had several tours lined up for that year, and they were gone in an instant. And then as we emerged from that, it really, like, perspectives changed. And at this point, we're not in our 20s anymore. We're in our 40s and going into 50s.
Still young from where I sit.
But we started to kind of reevaluate that, like, hey, do we want to go straight back into this the way that we were doing it? And is it something that it's still important to us in that sense? And for most of us, it wasn't something that we wanted to get right back into, at least not in that same way, which was basically like, we just go on the road because that's what we do, and that's what we know how to do. Not to mention that the economics of it all have become a lot more, or a lot less forgiving. So costs have gone up in every way, and just the whole mechanics of touring have become a little more difficult for everyone from top to bottom. I mean, I'm seeing things where top artists, selling out arenas are canceling a bunch of shows because they're not selling out the arenas like they used to. And all of those dynamics have changed. For Grupo Fantasma, we've really, we've slowed down a lot, and it's because coming out of the pandemic, a lot of people took on a lot of other things to continue to work. So several of the guys, a good handful of the guys actually are teachers. So they teach music, whether through private lessons or in high schools or drum lines or all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So those guys really upped that workload. There's a few guys that took on just other jobs altogether. Greg Gonzalez, a bass player, works for the city of Austin now, and he works on the music side. He books shows and for the city, and then does also work with this grant fund that they have in Austin, which is a really unique and special thing. But grants for musicians and for venues and stuff like that. Myself, I delved really into the production aspect, and my workload with that went way up. So I have a lot of my time is booked working with bands in here. So we've become way more selective with what we're doing. We do local shows, we do regional shows, and in terms of touring, it's more like flyouts. So we might fly out for a weekend, and I think aging into something like that for us, it's super appropriate because nobody wants to be just night after night sleeping in random hotels and sitting in vans and transports and whatever. It's just not as forgiving on your body or your mind at this point. And then those sorts of priorities of like, let's get out there and just have a great time, you know. But I mean, we do love doing it, but hey, we're older and we're not as energetic in that sense. So we've definitely changed the model for Grupo Fantasma, especially to just kind of a more selective and more strategic way of touring.
Do you think also that that's reflected in how in your creative process? I mean, in the beginning, you latch on to things and you kind of have spurts of energy and inspiration, and you put that all together and you just ride that energy on your tour. Do you find that the process is a little bit more focused, a little bit more concise now, or is it pretty much the same?
No, I do think it is more focused. It's much more compartmentalized. So one of the, I mean, especially with a 10-piece band, one of the biggest headaches that we have is scheduling.
Yeah.
And it's just, and and now with everything everybody has going on, it's even worse. You know what I mean? It's like we start texting or start messaging on our threads that we have, and it turns into this, 2-hour ordeal, 700 messages later, and like nobody's available at any time. So that's like the difficult. That's really the most difficult thing at this point. So when we do decide, like, hey, we're gonna do shows, or we're gonna, like, we just got done doing, which is recording a new album. We really have to plan that,
Yeah.
and we have to set it up in the right way, find the right circumstances, get everybody on the same page, and then we focus really hard and we get that done, and then everybody kind of runs off and goes back to doing what they were doing, and we come back together. Like a couple of weeks ago, I spent a bunch of time trying to schedule a bunch of rehearsals, and we really, just because we have a bunch of shows coming up in September and October and November. Really, fall is going to be pretty busy for us, and it's like, hey guys, we basically got to get back in the rehearsal studio and work in all this new material, whatever. So we spent a bunch of time focusing on getting these rehearsals together, and then everybody gets ready to do these shows. And like you said, it's kind of turns into like a seasonal thing, really. So like right now we're looking at fall is going to be really busy, and then probably, I mean, for the most part, winter's not very busy for playing shows, and then it'll pick up again in spring. And we're looking to have this new album, so that's a big consideration here, and it's a conversation that we're starting to have about, like, hey, what's going to be our commitment here? How much are we going to put into this in terms of touring and playing shows? And but yeah, it's a different perspective, a different outlook right now in this stage of the band.
Yeah, and the story that you're relating to us, it, I hear it a lot from successful artists, and by success I mean primarily creating art that has personal meaning on a regular basis, and then all types of other success can come from that kind of wellspring, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it seems like it's okay to have different focus and different parts or different seasons that are related just to life. As you mentioned before, there's this idea that the rock star idea, which is
Yeah.
cool. It's fine. That's a very exciting thing to pursue, but I don't think anybody has to be afraid of living life and having broader experience, which is going to change the art itself. Do you find that I hate to use the word mature, but do you feel like your art and the way you pursue it has gotten wiser?
Yes, I do agree with that assessment. It definitely has gotten. Um, I mean, if saying that it's gotten more mature is a apt description, then I'll take that, because I do feel like it encompasses a lot of what's happening right now, just in terms of, I mean, we have a lot of experience that we can put behind all of this now, and we know like what works, what doesn't work. Not 100%, obviously, but we do have perspective. So yes, I do think, like I said, we're approaching everything more strategically, with a little more direction, with a little more focus, because we know that um, it's just not as what's the word I'm looking for? It's not as well. We don't throw caution to the wind like we used to, right? And just like, let's see what
See
happens.
what
You know, it's a
happens,
little,
right?
yeah, it's a little more like, hey, we have this time period to get something done. Let's get it done. And we know how to get a lot of those things done now. Like we know how to make a record. We know what we need to do that. We know how to get a tour booked. So it's not so much figuring things out anymore, and just kind of going for it blindly. We are just a lot more deliberate with what we do, and I guess that comes with maturity. You know what I mean? And valuing your time for like you said, other things, and that being family or other consideration, other work that you have, and all of that. I mean, as we move forward in this life, you know, the time becomes the most valuable thing that you have. So we learn how to manage that better, learn how to just get more out of what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. That's a very prevalent kind of viewpoint of folks that have been in the arts for a while. That in the beginning it's all fresh and exciting and energetic, and then we learn from those connections. We learn from family and the amazing life affirming process, as well as challenges, right? That
Mhm.
come with connecting to folks, connecting to life in different ways, and in fact, different seasons for that too. Um, and so this is a tremendous journey artistically, and it's so cool to hear about your journey and Grupo Fantasma's journey. So, if folks want to find out more about Grupo, where should they go?
Well, you know, we're on Instagram and Facebook. we're I don't think we're on TikTok, but that's probably the most up to date information. I think we do have a website, you know, grupofantasma.com, but it's kind of more of just like a clearinghouse for finding links to the social media or to merch and stuff like that. It's got information for our last record. Things are going to be revamped coming into the next year, um, with this new album and these kind of celebrations of our 25th year, which
Wow.
this album is going to be kind of the culmination of that. So,
And when do you expect to come out with your latest album?
well, we're hoping for spring right now, but it might be more like summer. Um, we are the audio, getting everything recorded and mixed and everything took a little longer than we expected, and really have to do a lot with.
Wow, that never happens, right?
Yeah, but yeah, there were just a lot of competing things there, for people's time, especially with our producer Adrian Quesada, you know, who is very busy right now, and he, in the middle of the recording, got nominated for an Oscar for a song that he did.
Wow.
Yeah, so there was a little interruption there while he did promo for that,
Yeah.
but yeah, but no, it's we've we finally got it done, and now we are talking with a few different people for release options. So as soon as that's solidified, you know, we're gonna move forward as fast as we can to hopefully get it out. Like I said, spring, latest summer of next year, but it will be out next year.
That's awesome. So, everybody out there, uh, make sure that you're looking for the latest creative effort from Beto Martinez and Grupo Fantasma. Check them out on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you all the great success and luck and creative discovery that you've experienced so far. And we're looking forward so much to having you in our neck of the woods on November the 8th. Thank you so much, Beto.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, we're really excited to come through town and hope to see you there.
Oh, you can't avoid me.
Hi, KXIQ listeners. This is Michael Quantz with the Brownsville Society for the Performing Arts, here to tell you about our podcast, Brownsville Matters. Everyone in Brownsville has a story to tell, and these are the stories. We broadcast these stories every Friday at 5 p.m. and every Sunday at 3 p.m. on KXIQ 105.1 FM on your radio dial. You can also catch these stories rebroadcast on our YouTube channel for Brownsville Society for the Performing Arts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and smash the notifications if you want more information about these stories that you watch and listen to.